Today in this session, we are going to discuss about a very important interview question. What are the verification points available in Selenium? Whenever this question is asked in the interview, sometimes people get confused and don't know what should be the proper answer for that. So we are going to discuss this question and the answer with proper, you can say, proper examples. So, and this session is going to be totally practical. So let's continue. So you can say first thing is that what you need to check, that is check whether element is present or not, because this is the first verification point. Because whenever you are going to make a automation, first thing is that if the element is not present, how you can make a other type of validation on that, like you can say it is selectable, it is clickable, something like that, right? So the first proper, you can say, check is that verification is that the element should be present. So for that purpose, I'm taking the example of my own sample page, which is designed by me. And here I'm going to check one thing. Here I'm going to check one thing. You can say that whether my any element is present or not. So for that purpose, I will take the example. I have a register button here. Okay. So you can say that this register button is present here. I will check it here with the example of, you can say that, my Selenium code. So for that, here I want to tell you one important thing, that whenever you want to check the presence of any element, the one way is that the one and the best way is that you should use the driver.find element function. Now the question is that why we should not use the driver.find element? Because the thing is that whenever you are using the function, suppose driver.find element, and you are passing any locator, and if you are passing the locate, that is not correct. Correct means in the real scenario, you can say that it is not correct means, or you can say it is incorrect means, that element is not available, not present in your HTML code, that is called DOM. It means that is an invalid scenario, that is not present. So if you are writing the code driver.find element, if you are writing the XPath, and that locator is not available in the, you can say, page, it will throw the exception. What is the quality of driver.find elements? It will try to find the element, whatever path you have given here, whatever locator you have given, id, XPath, whatever, it will try to find the element. If the element will not be available, not present, it will not throw any exception. Only what it will do, it will return a list of all the elements, and in that case, if the element is not present, the size of that list will be 0. And other than if the element is present, the size will be other than 0. Maybe it can be 1 and 2, anything. So I'm using this concept, driver.find elements here, passing the locator in and just storing the result in a list. And if the list size is not equal to 0, then this will be present, otherwise it will not be present. So I'm simply here using the system.out.println to show this, you can say, verification. In the test ng, you can use the proper assertion for that. So my code is, you can say, executed, and now you can say that register button is present here. Okay. Now how I can show you the negative scenario? Only negative scenario I can show you. For example, intentionally I'm using the, you can say, I'm expecting the element is registered. Okay. And I will do one thing, because I've written the code, so I can edit the code here and will intentionally change the locator something different. So I can write, instead of register, I'm using registers. Now you can say that the ID of my this register button is registers, and what I'm verification here, it is register. So actually I'm trying to simulate a scenario where I'm trying to find the element register, but actually that is not present. So my code will not throw any exception. It will give the answer, element is not present. You can see and go here. Yes, element register button is not present, because it is not able to find the element with this ID, with this locator, and the left side is, you can say, 0. So that's why else condition is triggered. So this is the first verification point. Okay. Now we'll talk about the second verification point, that is to check element is visible or not. So now the thing is that if your element is present there, okay, your element is present in the HTML code DOM, but it is not visible. So how you can check it? So for that purpose, we have a function that is called isDisplay. Okay, same thing I will show you in my code here. So for example, you can say that you can take the example of this school name field is there. This is visible here. So for that purpose, I can run the code. So let me run the code. This one, element is visible, and it is very straightforward. Try to find the element and call the function isDisplayed. Okay, and now if displayed, if this will be true, because by default it displayed means it will return the true, then element will be visible, and otherwise else condition, element is not visible. So let me first of all run the positive condition. Let me run this one, and now you see that it is returning displayed equal to true or not. If it will return the display true, school name field is visible. So this is first positive scenario. Now let me show you the negative scenario. How I can show you? I can do one thing. I can intentionally modify the code so that you can see that it is working fine or not. So whenever element is not visible, in that case, actually the type of that element will always be hidden, HIDDEN. So I will show you this thing. You can say first of all manually. Let me refresh it, and you can see that this school name will be invisible. Now you can see it is invisible, and you want to verify this thing from the automation. So I'm going to run the same code here. Let me run the same code here. Okay, let me save the code here. Yeah, okay, that is already saved. So now let me run the code and see that this time it will verify element is present, but it is not displayed. It is not visible. So let me run it. Yeah, now go to the code and see that element is not visible. So you can verify this thing from your code. Same code we have written. Only I'm just making the modification in my code so that I can show you the negative and the positive side. Now let me make it Control Z. It is type equal to text. This is my second verification point. Now the third point is that to check whether element is enabled or not. Okay, so for that purpose we have a function that is called is enabled. Okay, so that I'm going to check on my checkbox. I can show you manually. First of all, this is my page, and if I will try to click on Selenium, I'm able to click on. But if I try to click on Sophia, you can say that I'm not able to click on because it is, you can say, disabled. So I will check for the Selenium checkbox. It will be visible as a enabled, means true, that will be, and for the, you can say, Sophia, it will be disabled. Okay, so now let me run this code here. You can say that for that purpose, I will check this one. You can say this is, you can say, okay, the scenario was enabled. Okay, so let me go here and you can say this is the enabled. So here you can say that, you can see that this is my driver.find element. I'm finding the Selenium and then I'm finding it is enabled or not. So let me run this code here and see that it is enabled or not. So let me run this code. Okay, I'm running the code, and now you can say that, let me go and see that what is the output. Checkbox, Selenium checkbox is enabled. Now I will do one thing. Instead of you can say using the Selenium checkbox, I will you can say write the ID for the another checkbox, that is, you can say SoapUI. So let me right click, let me inspect, and now what is the ID for that SoapUI, and I will check it is unique or not. Control and put it. Yes, it is unique. So I will do one thing. In my code, I will try to find the element SoapUI and see that in this case, you know that manually you can see that it is disabled here. So my code will this time give the answer it is not enabled. So let me run this code. So it means using the is enabled, you can check whether any element is enabled or it is disabled. So now let me go to here and you can say it is not enabled. It means you can say it is disabled, right? So I have written the, you can say, Selenium here. That's why it is giving. Otherwise, you can say I've checked the change the, you can say, element. So I should change the text here also like so. But you got the point. What is the point for that? Okay. Now next validation point is that to check whether any checkbox or element is selected or not. Okay, so basically this is you can say only, you can say, can be tested with the radio button or checkboxes, something like that, right? So I can do one thing, I can make a practical on that. So I will take the example of, you can say that this checkbox, like you can take the example Selenium, it is selected or not. So currently I will check it. By default, you can say, let me refresh it, it is by default selected. So answer should be selected equal true. And if I will check about the, you can say, SoapUI, the answer will be, you can say, false here. Okay, so now let me do one thing, or I can check for JMeter also. So answer will be false here. So I will do one thing, let me check for the, you can say, selected here. This is my selected here. So by default I'm using the example of Selenium. So let me run it and see that it is giving the answer select. You can see that this is a selected function. Okay, now let me run it. So I am running it and now it will check Selenium box checkbox is selected or not. So this is, you can say, selected, and if I go, Selenium checkbox is selected. And now I can do one thing. Why I will take the example of another. I will do one thing. I will just unselect the checkbox from my UI, and you will see that same code will give the answer. You can say not selected. So where is my you can Selenium? Why it is selected? Because I have written it checked. Okay. So let me remove this this code from here. Check. Okay. Now I will show you manually also that if I'm remove that, by default my checkbox is not selected. And now I will run this same code again, and this time it will give the answer, you can say, not selected. So in this way you can say that you can verify and anything is selected or not. Okay, now let me run this code And now if you go and you will find it is not selected. So actually you can say that using this thing, you can, let me control Z first of all. Okay, now you can check this thing. And now the last and the important verification point is that sometime you have to check whether any text is present or not. So in that case, you can say that you want to check whether particular text is available on your whole page or not. You can use one thing, driver.get page source, get the whole page source, and then you check the text is present or not. So for that purpose, I have taken the example. In my page, you will see that I have a text that is called this Ranbir. So I want to check whether this is present or not. So then I will take the example of negative. Okay. So for that purpose, you can say that text is present, this one. So I will run this code and you will see that it is giving the answer true, means true or false. So contains will return if the text is present, it will give the answer true. Otherwise, it will return the answer false. And now let me run it and say that Ranbir is present. If I will take the example of something else, like you can say, instead of Ranbir, I will say that Ranbir, suppose G. Okay. Now let me run this code and you will see that because this text is not present, so answer will be, you can say, false. Let me run this code. Let me run this code and see. Okay, now let me go to the console and this is not present. So in this way, you can say that we have different, you can say, method to check whether element is present or not. Okay, so you can use this one also. I hope you understand all the points, how we can verify, what are the important verification point in the Selenium. Still you have any doubt, you can put in your doubt in the comment of this video. And if you like the video, you can click on the like button also. Thank you.